Hello and welcome yet again to another Wind in the Willows episode review. This week, The Labyrinth from Series 2, and this will round off summer. After this, we'll be halfway through, and cannot believe it. Thanks so much for not bearing with me, but hopefully you're enjoying these videos. And thanks for subscribing, the comments and everything. So after this one, we dive into autumn. This one, it's a bit of a cheat because really it's kind of an autumn episode. Certainly feels like early autumn, but like I said last week, it has to be put here really. But yeah, think of it as late summer transitioning into autumn. So let's get straight into it. I do love this one, although in terms of episodes I really love and episodes I don't like so much, I guess this one is kind of in the middle for me. I don't remember it from childhood. I do remember a video being released, Labyrinth and Other Stories. There was this range of only two of them. There was the Lord Toad one, which I remember getting when it was released, and then I remember seeing this Labyrinth video and missed out on it originally, and then it was discontinued, of course, and eventually got it on eBay. But this, I remember seeing it when Channel 5 repeated the series, and I remember it vividly, this one, because most episodes, of course, I caught them when at home and recorded them and try and build them up that way. But this one, we happened to be away on holiday when this was being shown, so I remember setting the video recorder to record it on the timer while we were away, and we actually watched it. I can't even remember where we went, but it was a family holiday. And it's special to me in that sense because I remember watching it, and my nan, you know, bless her, she was still alive then and then passed away the following year, sadly. So this would have been 1997 that this was on TV, and I just have a vivid memory of that when we were away in the hotel room and getting up to watch it. It was just really exciting, just to see it on TV live and having the family around. So it is special to me in that sense. In terms of where I rate it, like I say, it is in the middle for me. I don't think it's a terrible episode by any means. I think it's very, very good. I think it's got some, good moments in it, and it's got a good story, but it's quite basic, the story. Not an awful lot happens, but what does happen is done in a very interesting way. And as we'll find, yes, it is an episode with one of Toad's crazies. We'll get to that soon, but really this is a Ratty episode. Ratty's at the centre of it, and of course we'll talk to it as we come to it. I'm sure you've seen it, you know what happens, but it starts off very nicely like this with this opening scene of Mole it's got a harvesty feel, so they're using fruits of the harvest to make jam or whatever it is, elderberry jam I think it is. But typical scene of Ratty and Mole, being the wonderful friends that they are. So Badger, as he says, is on his way to Badger's, and was it Brabble jelly? I think that's what he's making. So realistic, that jelly there, isn't it? Beautifully done. We've got the music of Mole's theme in the background, of course. Got nice dissolves transitioning here. Now this does remind me in some ways of The Storm, which I reviewed early on, if you remember. And The Storm actually, episode-wise, it's only a couple of episodes before this one. So there's a very similar format where they're going to Badger's, Mole's got there first, Ratty's on his way, he meets Billy Rabbit on the way, and Billy's in a bit of a pickle, and then Ratty gets into a pickle himself. So it's a very similar story in that sense. Of the two, I definitely prefer this one. Firstly, because I think the animation's superb, not that the other one isn't, but this one we got the fantastic Paul Berry on this. Chris Taylor directed it, and we got Paul Berry, and this is fairly early on for Paul Berry, but he was beginning to get really, really good now. I mean, you look at the animation, certainly when we get to Toad. I don't know if he did Ratty, it's hard to tell. It is a beautiful animation of Ratty here. Trying to find his way. Where the eyes are leading, and you've got the strong silhouettes and his arm kind of lifting in the right place. And we've got some generic sets here of the Wildwood. he really does look lost, doesn't he? It's really, really well done. So this coming here is very, very unusual. What happens when I saw it for the first time? I thought, God, can this be the Wind in the Willows? And look at that. We very rarely see anything like that. And silence, absolute silence as the camera pans out like this. You'd think, yeah, they could have used music, but very wise of them to just have silence there. And you're on the edge of your seat, you think, my gosh, what's happened to Ratty? Is he right? Is he dead? You know? But to see a character fall like that, I was so amazed when I watched it. I thought, gosh, that's just unusual, just very removed from the rest of the series. First of all, to see him move so fast. But that was a real thump to the legs, wasn't it? I mean, for him to land on his legs like that, he could have broken his legs. So from there, we know we've got peril now. We've got something dark that's happened. Ratty's in trouble. Only we are aware, of course. And now we go to more of a light-hearted scene with Toad visiting Mole. So Toad, he's got this wonderful outfit on. Very reminiscent of Sherlock Holmes. Classic Sherlock Holmes, as I think of it. Not like some of the versions we've seen recently. I do like the various incarnations of it, but this is the classic Sherlock Holmes. This is how Sherlock Holmes should look, in my opinion. With the cap, and he's even got the pipe, which we'll see in a moment. So some of these scripts, when you think of them, they're very, written in a very convenient way. Ratty's got lost. And of course, Toad's got the perfect phrase for it, isn't he? To be an explorer, a detective, to follow clues, to find Ratty when we come to it. Look at that wonderful pipe. The way he uses it as well, just like Holmes would have done. I love watching scenes with Toad and the others, particularly with Mole, because you see how animated Toad is, how busy he is. And it's Paul Berry at his best again. He's got puffing of the pipe there. That proves that the puppet had joints in the lips here. It had paddles all around the lips, so you could kind of move and get a different expression. But to have one at the side there, it's just interesting. And you see it, the curl of his lips, varying between episodes. But never quite as prominent as that, actually puffing and actually really making use of it. So this is a dark episode. I mean, this has got a character in peril. Like I say, obviously it's not the first time we've seen Ratty in peril, but we can see blood there very clearly. He's cut himself. Looks very realistic. And we see the scarf at his left. That's an important shot. We pan over to see more blood on the rock that he's cut himself on. And it's not the first time we've seen blood. First time I think I've reviewed an episode with blood in it, but the Weasel's Trap, that's an earlier episode which we'll come to in the autumn. But it's quite, unnerving, to see that. It's a shame Toad's so lost there. Again, we talked about lighting in the past, but some of the shadows, particularly in Badger's house, are so dark you just can't see the characters sometimes. Badger's almost lost there, blending into the background.
Then what's this, Isn't there something familiar about this button?
I love the way Toad's holding the button there. It's a classic silhouette, classic pose, having all the fingers spread out. Kind of a cliched pose, you could say, but it works, doesn't it? You see it with all the great Disney characters and their pose. Now, I learned a lot from this series as an animator. When I started out, the first things I worked on, I tended to do too much of falling in that trap of all these elements of the body all coming to a natural standstill almost simultaneously. And you see with Toad particularly how he's got two arms moving about like that, and one always settles slightly after the other, and that's so important to get right. You see it here as he's turning around. He's previously had his pipe in one hand, his magnifying glass in the other, and they're moving very independently from each other, and yet it all comes together as completion. He's doing it here. You know, you've got that hand there with the spread out fingers. The surprise of movement there. You don't, and again, you don't often see movement that fast. I mean, arguably, you could say the characters move quite slowly. Generally, it's got a very slow pace to it. But when you see fast action like that, it's kind of uplifting. It's kind of throws you a bit. You've already seen Ratty fall, of course. Excuse me, we'll have a bit of. Bit of water. Oh, I do need that. We've got a lot of hot weather at the moment. Thankfully, some of the weather is back. Certainly very hot today. And that's a real work in magnifying glass. I mean, what a beautiful little prop that was made. It really does work. We see Toad's eye bigger than it would be. So he falls down now, just as Ratty did. There he goes.
What was Toad? Toad, where are you? Badger.
So he's managing to hang on top there, like Ratty. So you land on his feet again, like Ratty, but not quite from the same height. So attention to detail. You know, he's not really hurt at all. Of course, he believes he is, being the overly dramatic Toad that he is. It's wonderful writing, you know, it's very in character. And now he believes he really is ill because he's spotted the blood. He's wounded, he's seen it, and he genuinely believes it. He's not acting now, he's actually, well, he's kind of acting, isn't he? But now that he's seen the blood, he's believed that he's definitely wounded. I guess if it was me, I'd be the same. I'd fallen, and I'm like, oh, and then I see there's some blood, I'm thinking, oh, I'm wounded. Love that line, before I slip away. So this is Toad being so stupid, he grabs the scarf. The great detective that he supposedly is. He doesn't stop for a minute to think, where's this scarf come from? He's just grabbed it, he's just realised it's useful for now. So theatrical, isn't it?
What are you doing with a scarf over your eyes?
I'm wounded. I'm wounded.
No, you're not.
And I always say Barry, arguably, is the definitive Toad. I mean, he started it all. But when you see Paul Berry animating very theatrically as well, I think Paul was very inspired by Barry, of course. And sometimes you look at Paul Berry's animation, it could very easily be Barry's, but it is so dramatic and full of wonderful silhouettes and beautifully staged. Very exaggerated performance. As Toad is, he is very exaggerated. So we are in this tunnel now, and the majority of the episode now, in fact, the rest of it takes place in the tunnels. And I know I grumble a little bit about lighting, but I think it's pretty effective here. I mean, how do you light a tunnel? Where's that light source coming from? You need to think about, you know, you've got the hole above, obviously, and use some dim lights just so we can see the characters. And it's not the first time we've seen tunnels, of course. But it's well done, you know, we need to make sure that the characters can be seen, but it still needs to look dark, it needs to look kind of scary. You know, we're kind of with Toad here, where he's a bit freaked out. But it's creepy tunnels and so on. Now I like that we got darkness there, and then you can do anything you like. You know, when you go into a black screen, you can just pan out of it, zoom in, zoom out from it, whatever you want to do.
We badgers always leave them in our tunnels, so Toad, what is it?
So they're really in the shadows there, and that's nice. You just get a hint of the spider web there. You can see it very clearly, of course, but you can't see Toad that clean. I think that's really effective. And that's nice where the lights come up there. And doesn't that look real, that spider's web? I mean, that is a very, very fine fabric. You know, you can't just use cotton wool for something like that. Yeah, that would be too fluffy. It has to be very thin strands. And we all know how fine spiders' webs are in real life, so to scale it down for these characters, But again, it comes back to that thing of,
Quite right.
are they humans? Are they animals? You know, a spider's web, in comparison to a real toad, would be pretty thick. If they're human size, then spiders are tiny to them as they are to us. But imagine like a big house spider with a real sized toad. It would be huge in relative terms. But this is part of the issue with Kenneth Graham. You know, this human stroke animal issue that it's always had, and what illustrators always struggle with. But Cosgrove Hall made it work. I love this sudden turnaround. I was talking about quick action. Yeah, lovely that. Build up a slow action, then really fast, and then cut into a really nicely composed shot of the three of them. Now the light there, to get the lantern to light, I suspect they would have put a wire down Toad's sleeve, you know, from the lantern going down his sleeve through bottom of his trousers somewhere. More difficult to achieve in wide shots, of course, because you've got to hide it. You know, so before the days where you could paint things out. So, but you can get away with it a little bit when it's dark tunnels like this, of course.
Now come on, Toad.
Oh, look, Mary, I didn't think Badger meant right now. He meant, oh. Wait for me.
I like that, starting with the door. We can hear that he's sort of struggling before we actually reveal him visually, and it's quite nice. That.
There's no one down here. No one will come.
The fact that he's sitting down suggests that he really has hurt his legs. You know, not only grazed his cheek,
What's that?
I don't think he's broken his legs. They'd be more pain than this, but he is badly hurt.
Ratty! Ratty!
These are effective, just these static shots.
Mole! It's Mole!
It's almost like the sound's carrying, isn't it, and bouncing off the walls. And...
Rat? Ratty? That you? It is. It's Ratty. Hang on, Ratty. We're coming.
Wait for me, Mole. Wait for me.
I always admire shots like that, where Mole's carrying the dialogue, and
Ratty.
Toad just needs to be kept alive. He needs to be sort of waiting and looking around. So,
Thank goodness.
again, that's Paul Berry, taking direction from Chris Taylor, of course, but doing things that are interesting with Toad and in character. You know, how would he be behaving? He'd be sort of looking around like that, and he'd be listening, and sort of, he did it exactly perfectly, but not so he didn't upstage Mole too much. So it's a balancing act when you're animating.
I heard that. Yes, Ratty, and if it hadn't been for my skill in following clues.
So I think this is a very typical episode in terms of Toad. You know, it's very sort of.
Then he fell into the tunnel.
He's got this craze. He turns out to be hopeless at it, and we see that numerous times, and done in brilliant ways every time. You know, sometimes you could say, "Oh, the series feels a bit repetitive," but I think it's refreshing. Every episode is different enough to me. And like I said before, this is a Ratty episode, so this is one of those episodes where a character is in trouble, other than Toad. There's many where Toad's in trouble with the Weasels, with them kind of pretend to be someone else. So lots of lights would have been set up, obviously spotlights and things, and to be animated. You can't even see Badger there, can you? You see the glow of the lantern, that's it.
We'll have to take it easy. It's a long way back. No need.
So again, we imagine that light source is from somewhere else, it's not just from the lanterns. Because obviously the light isn't moving. If the light was purely from the lanterns, it'd be flickering more than it is. You know.
Oh, thank heavens. I mean, I'll go on ahead and get the kettle on. Not that I mind the dark,
No, Toad. Not that.
but someone has to do these things.
Oh, well, we'll soon catch him up.
Silly
Not down
Toad.
there, we won't, Mole. How do you mean? He's gone the wrong
I like
way.
the way he asks for help. Isn't
He's lost. Badger, don't worry,
he? I do like that.
I'll find
And this, it's a great line Badger has here at the end.
It's
Very good.
elementary, my dear Watson.
But that's one of those almost like a throwaway line in terms of children. I mean, I was aware of Sherlock Holmes at the age I saw this, but then I was 16 when I first saw that episode. So any younger? No, I don't think that would have gone over my head. Elementary, my dear Watson, would have been like that. Yeah. Ratty and Mole were laughing, so that must be funny. So that's why, again, it comes back to that thing of this is for everyone. There's something for everyone in this. You know, adults and older children will be able to understand the reference points more. In fact, when I spoke to Bridget Appleby once, who obviously heavily involved with this, she always wondered who this series was aimed for. She said sort of older children, but you know, approaching teenage sort of age, it's kind of not the typical thing that age would watch. So I understand her point. You know, who is this aimed at? It's just a certain kind of person that's aimed at, isn't it? Someone like, it's obviously someone like me. But how do you define that? I don't know. It's got its appeal, isn't it? Wonderful appeal, universal appeal, timeless appeal, and that's why it always appealed to adults as well. Anyone who remembers the book, for a start, loved the book. So there you go. That's the Labyrinth. Yeah, an interesting one. Certainly in so much as it's a very dark episode, not just visually, obviously, but the essence of it is this dark subject matter of Ratty being in trouble there. But there's a lovely balance of the light-hearted stuff as well, so I think that's very effective when you have episodes like that. So I do like it, I really do like it, and I do have, as I said before, a personal attachment to it. Yeah, just not one I choose to watch that often for some reason. I don't really know why. It's no weasels in it. It doesn't need them, does it? It's a nice one involving all four of the characters, and really, you know, confirming that they're the solid friendship that they have. And even Toad is totally a solid friend, isn't he? So there we go. That's wow. We are halfway. If you think of the film, and I've done spring and summer episodes, and we've got autumn and winter to go, and of course the final special, Tale of Two Toads. And then as far as the bonus episodes is concerned, I've done the first 6 of those, I think. So we've got 7 more of those to go. So yeah, we are halfway. Like I said before, thank you so much for sticking with me with these, watching them and subscribing, and thanks for all the comments and everything. I really appreciate it, and do hope you enjoyed them. I'll keep the format like this, just going all the way through to the end, and then when we get to the grand finale with the Tale of Two Toads, that will be well, just as we head into March, end of February, just heading into March when we get to that. And then I'll be doing more videos about, as I said before, my collection. I'm going to go talking about some stuff I've got, merchandise, and bits and pieces, original stuff and so on. And yeah, so yeah, thanks for sticking with me. It's all eventually going towards a book that I really want to write, so I will get there. With your help and support, I will get there. So, thanks very much, and I shall see you next week for the first official autumn episode, and that is Badger's Remedy. I know it's a personal favourite of many people. Quite a few people said to me they love that one. If this one's dark, that certainly is dark. We're dealing with close death with that one. And it's Mole this time. Mole's in trouble in that one. And if I'm totally honest, it's not one of my favourites, purely because it's not got the usual level of humour that I love in this series. But I totally understand why people adore it. I think it's very important that we have episodes like that, so I do like it. I love it for those reasons. So it'll be really interesting discussing that one. So please join me for next week for that one, and enjoy what's left of the summer officially. I'm sure we'll have a good September there as well. All the best then, and see you soon. Cheers then.